Welcome to Conscious Cuisine Conversations. I'm your host, Shamika, and today I'm here with a dope guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself. To me, he goes by the name of Coach Robert, Coach Rob. So, Coach Rob, tell us about yourself, and thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you opening the space and having these conversations. I'm Coach Robert Moore, your favorite plant-based fitness and nutrition guide, on a mission to make healthy simple so you can take the steps to help you avoid the chronic diseases that take us out too early.
Damn, I like that.
That's my mission. So
Yeah.
I know one of the questions you have on there is what got me into this, but I ain't gonna get too far ahead of myself. But
So you are a plant-based fitness
and nutrition coach.
and nutrition.
Coach. So what I do is I help people transition to a healthier lifestyle.
Okay.
My goal is to help people eat better food, move their body every day, sleep better, drink enough water, and have a healthy way of managing their stress. Once you handle those 5 things, everything else takes care of itself.
Okay.
Now, there's some other things. Get enough sunlight. There's some other factors to being healthy. But if you do those 5 things, everything else will come out in the wash.
Dope. So what got you into this lifestyle of fitness and health and nutrition?
So I've always been on a health journey. Well, not always. Since I was 18, I was a skinny kid. I graduated high school, and way back when I graduated high school at 115 pounds. I'm 5'9". So
Wow.
I was skinny. So I'm not big and bulky now, but I'm not as skinny as I was then. And so I was paying attention to how to build my body, how to get into that. And then after I graduated, I went vegetarian as well because I saw the health conditions that were going on in my family. Now, fast forward, 2013, I lost my mother to cancer. And it was her second bout. And that's really was the wake-up call for me that I have to do something even more for myself. Because the next year, my first son was born. So in 2014, my oldest was born. And that was the wake-up call. I am predisposed to the things that happened to my mother and father. And my mother had heart attacks in her 40s. And I was 31 when I had my son.
Wow.
So I knew I wasn't far off from that. So I knew I had to take every precaution to not be down that road because I couldn't let them go through what I went through.
Wow. Where were you originally from, your family?
Oh, St. Louis. So I'm from St. Louis originally. 15 years down here in South Florida.
Down here.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Them R's come out real hard from where we from.
Okay. So what are some of those medical or health conditions that your family had or you're predisposed to?
So
you said cancer.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease, heart attacks, gout, high blood pressure between my mom and my dad.
Okay. And you said about 18. When did you become vegetarian?
18.
18.
When I was 18, I'm 42 now, to give you some perspective. And I've been plant-based for 9 years.
Wow. So before you became vegetarian, what was your upbringing?
Standard Americans. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, the barbecue capital. We consider ourselves the barbecue capital.
I didn't know that. I don't want no smoke.
So there are other places that claim it, but we grill out too. So my dad had 3 different grills at his house.
Wow.
1 for smoking, 1 for queuing, and then 2 for queuing. So wow. I grew up fishing. So name a part of the pig, everything but the chitlins. I could still not get past that. But tripe, barbecue, ribs, chicken, you name it, I ate it. So the ham hocks and the greens, that's the type of food I grew up on because my grandmother is from Arkansas originally. So they moved up to St. Louis. So I grew up with that traditional Southern cooking. So that's how I grew up eating. And I realized a lot of people think that disease is hereditary. Disease isn't hereditary, but what is hereditary is how you eat. If you eat in the same way Big Mom and Uncle Joe and Aunt Kathy and all of them got diseases, well, guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to have those same diseases because you're eating the same food.
You ate like them. Wow. And what pushed you? Was it because of the medical conditions and the health conditions in your family that influenced you to become vegetarian?
Yeah. So for me, it was at the same time, I was also found Black consciousness. So I read the book From Niggas to Gods. So I already knew that pork was bad for you. So I just took it the next route. And then I found Rastafarianism at the same time. And they talk about eating ital, and it made sense. You can't get life from dead food or from dead animals. So it only made sense. So I got rid of pretty much everything other than fish at that point. And then over the 15 years that I was doing it, I bounced back and forth between pescatarian and vegetarian.
That seems to be like pretty common transition for people. They do the pescatarian, vegetarian, then vegan, or people find it easier to, you know, be on that pescatarian side because they still have their fish. So they're not completely eradicating all the meats. They still get their fish in there sometimes. So you don't eat
so now I eat nothing that comes from an animal at all. So I've been fully plant-based for the last 9 years.
And what made you transition to plant-based?
That was when my son was born. Okay. Me and my ex-wife made the decision to go to plant-based because we were going to remove every possibility that we possibly could to end up down that road. Well, not every possibility because I still smoke. But when I say herb. Okay. Yeah, no. So the herb, not tobacco. I gave that up way back when I was still in my 20s.
Okay. So the whole family transition.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So both of my sons have never eaten meat in their life.
Are they still that way, practicing that lifestyle?
Yeah. So they're 9 and 6. They don't have a choice. They eat what I bring in the house.
See.
So now their mom has got a little bit more relaxed with it because we co-parent. However, they still haven't eaten meat, but they've eaten some things that have dairy in it.
Okay.
But none of that. Like that stuff don't even exist around me. So.
Okay, let's touch on that because I'm vegan and I raised my son vegan until I shipped him off. That sounds bad. I sent him to grandma. I was living in Virginia. I sent him to grandma for some time. And one day she FaceTimed me with my little baby and I seen him in the background eating the McDonald's chicken nuggets. And I was like, Mom, what are you doing? She gave my son chicken nuggets and it was a wrap. Like, he was like, Mom, I don't want to be vegan anymore. So later on in the years, he told his dad, of course, because his dad saw. I mean, wow. I'm more like stern, but my son told his dad he don't want to be vegan anymore. I think I traumatized him too. Like,
yeah, no. So don't feel like you traumatized them because other people will make you feel that way. And I started to grapple with that for like half a second. Okay. Half a second. But I was like, yeah, no. Because I have friends that grew up Muslim. And so they never ate pork until they got into like their teenagers. And then they tried and it was like, yeah, no, it's still not for me. So you're not traumatizing them when you know what's in their best interest. It's not like we're saying don't do vegan because it's the social political aspect. No, we're saying you need to be not eating these things because it's directly tied to the things that are killing us. And it's killing us at a higher rate than it's killing our counterparts. And the trend now is not just killing us as adults, it's reaching into the children. There are more obese children now than any time. And most of these children are ending up with adult diseases. Like they're children with diabetes, like full-on type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. We're talking about teenagers and 9-year-olds. That's not okay. So don't ever feel like you're traumatizing your kid because you're doing what's in their best interest. That's like saying, okay, yeah, I won't let you play with this gun because you want to. No, we don't do that around. Like this is a weapon. It's a tool used for what it's used for. When you're properly trained, you can use it in that sense, but it's still not a toy to be played with. No, like.
Oh, thank you for validating me.
Yeah, no, don't ever make somebody feel like you're doing something wrong or traumatizing your child because you're doing what's in their best interest.
Yeah, because even now, like when we go out to eat, he eats my food, and I'm like, no, eat your food.
How old is he?
He's 10.
Okay, yeah, no, see, so and it's for me the same way I grew up. You're gonna eat what I bring in this house.
So, but what about when they're not in the house? What are they eating, like at school with friends? How you know they're not eating vegan food?
Before recently, my children were homeschooled.
Oh, okay.
So it was very easy to control what they ate. I don't have a large family down here in South Florida. All of my family's back in St. Louis. So they were always either with me or with their mom. So it made it real easy to, and then the friends that I have are all vegan. So like the most of my friends that I have down here, because I'm not really going to be moving with people who don't move like I move, because that means we value different things. Like that's why even in the dating scene now, my next partner is going to have to be vegan or willing to be vegan, because absolutely, because that means we value different things if you're not willing to be. And when I say value different things, I value my health above anything else in this world. And if you're not willing to eat the foods that are going to preserve your health, this ain't gonna work.
Damn.
Because there is no way possible I'm up feeling good, high energy, moving around, and then you're low, this, that, and the third, and then the mindset that comes with it. I'm pretty sure you experienced the mental clarity that came when you made the transition to a plant-based lifestyle. So now we're thinking and vibrating differently. No, that's not going to work.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You moving around with digestive issues and dead flesh in your digestive issues. So now your pH balance is off and different.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, we gonna talk about it. If you gonna bring me in here, we gonna talk about it. So no, like you have to either be on the path already or at least willing to get on the program, because it's not gonna work. And then I still want to have more children. So now that means we have a conflicted household.
How many more kids you want?
At least one.
Oh, okay. You want a girl?
One, maybe two, yeah. Because I got two boys.
Yeah.
I want to try for a girl. And had I been with my ex-wife, we would have had our third child by now, which she had after we separated. But whole nother story. So yeah, I still would love to have my baby girl. I've always wanted 3 or 4 children. So I'm the youngest of 6.
Oh wow! Are you the only plant-based?
Yes. Yeah. My brother, my older brother, my next older brother, he doesn't eat meat as much as he used to, but that's because he's cognizant of it. But yeah, no,
I'm getting alignment with
I'm the only one fully plant-based. My sister is going that way now that she's seeing how it can help her with the weight loss that she's been on. So
yeah,
I'm slowly turning the tide. Some of my nieces have gotten on it, so I'm slowly turning the ship, trying to get my uncle, because he has heart disease. So trying to get the people who really need to understand it to do it. But people are going to do things in their own time. You can't make them. All you can do is continue to present the information.
I like that. So besides why are you smiling? Because I'm about to go there.
Come on with it. I'm enjoying. I am enjoying the conversation. So I'm gonna smile.
Okay.
Come on with it.
Okay. So besides men who have multiple partners messing up women's pH balances, you said food, our diet.
Yeah.
How does our food affect our pH balance?
Because your pH balance is controlled by your hormones, is it not? What controls your hormone?
I don't know. Tell me, Coach.
Your gut bacteria.
Okay.
And what's going on in your gut? Well, guess what controls your gut bacteria and what's going on in your gut? The food that you eat. Everything dials back to the food that you eat. Because when you get hungry, it's not because your stomach is empty and you want filling. You're hungry because your cells are asking for energy and nutrients. That's why people who eat a lot of processed food or meat end up eating more or overeating, because they ate, but they didn't give their body what it needed.
That's true.
They filled their belly, but they didn't actually nourish their cell.
That's so true.
That's why you can eat 4, 5, 6, 10 bags of those little bitty it used to be quarter bag of chips,
They're $1 now or something. Two for $1.
Yeah, so like a 50-cent bag of chips now. But you can eat 2 baked potatoes and be good.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna run it back.
Okay.
So the way that I always help have people understand food density and calorie density versus nutrient density. How many baked potatoes can you eat before you get full? 1, 2 at most. Now, how many bags of those 50-cent bag of chips can you eat before you get full?
A lot.
At least 6 before you just over the taste. So each of those bag of chips is about 250 to 350 calories. Now do that math by 6. I'm not doing math today. It's Sunday. Now, 2 baked potatoes is about 250 calories.
Mm-hmm.
Now, calories equate to how much weight you are going to end up carrying, because if you don't burn the calories that you consume, the body stores them.
Mm-hmm.
But two baked potatoes, low calories, high in nutrients. All those chips, high in calories, low in nutrients. So that's calorie density versus nutrient density, explained quickly.
I feel like I'm in a nutrition class right now. I love it.
Appreciate it. So every time I talk to somebody, I want them to do three things, or say or think three things. One, I didn't know that. Two, that's easier than I thought. And three, that makes sense.
Okay. So what are some easy ways to be healthy?
Easiest ways, the 5 easy things. Eat nutrient-rich foods. The most nutrient-rich foods that you're going to get are whole foods that come from plants. Second, move your body every single day. 30, 40 minutes. Doesn't have to be a strenuous workout, but you want to get your heart rate up. 4 or 3, drink enough water. Stay hydrated. Where most people are chronically dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, all of your bodily functions start to decline. Brain, everything. 4, get enough sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, your body is not getting the chance to do what it was designed to do, and that's repair itself and replenish itself and get rid of the bad cells that it no longer needs. It doesn't do that while we're up and moving around. It does that when we're sleeping. So if you're not sleeping enough, you're not giving your body the tools that it needs. And lastly, you have to find a healthy way to manage your stress, because you can do all of the other 4 things, but have too much cortisol and too much stress, and you still going to die of a heart attack. You're still going to kill over, still going to have high blood pressure, because stress ties into all of those. So with cortisol. And so meditation, breath work, journaling, movement, dancing, find some way to help deal with the stuff that's going on between your head or your ears, whatever word I'm trying to say. Told you my words have been coming to me.
Okay. So we got into how you got into the plant-based lifestyle. How'd you get into fitness? And how do you sustain and maintain it? Because I struggle with that.
So I got into fitness because I got tired of being skinny. And so I had to figure out how to not be skinny anymore. So
is that running your family?
No. It's just me. I just genetically predisposed to be skinny and have a high metabolism, because I can eat all day long and I'm not going to gain no weight if I'm not training correctly. So I got tired of being called 100 pounds with soaking wet with boots on. So like I said, when I graduated high school, I was only 115 pounds. So between 18 and 25, I went from 115 to about 145 pounds. So between eating mass amounts, hitting the gym 2 times a day, some days. Yeah, when I was younger, I was on a mission to no longer be skinny.
Wow.
So, but that's why I'm not that big now, because I am not putting that much emphasis on working out like that. So I train still to stay fit. Like I still run obstacle courses. I did this 10K Spartan race a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
So, but to answer your question, how to maintain it, you have to make it fit into your routine, into your lifestyle. Remove as many barriers as possible. I don't work out in a gym anymore, because that's one thing to say, all right, I got to get there. I got to change clothes. Nope. At the house. Resistance bands, suspension trainer. I got some adjustable weights. Now there's no excuse, because all I got to do is go to that section of the house.
Wow. So I'm not going to see you in the gym come January 1st holding up space, and you're not going to be in there come March.
No. Like if you see me in the gym, it's because I went to the gym with somebody else.
Okay.
Like I have a couple of homeboys down here that I'll go to the gym with. Other than that, you won't find me in the gym.
Okay. And what is a Black conscious man doing or studying nutrition? How'd you get into that?
I got into studying nutrition so that I could be the best version of myself, because I don't like to just take secondhand information. I have to look at it and see it for myself in order for it to make sense for me. And that's why when I speak, I try to do it in a way that makes sense. I will use big words occasionally, but I try to tell a story or use an analogy that makes it make sense, like I did with the potato. Because that everybody's like, okay, yeah, I can envision 2 sweet potatoes or 2 baked potatoes versus those bag of chips.
Yeah.
I use the analogy. So I do have a detox program, and I called it like an oil change and a tune up for your body. because everybody gets an oil change, everybody gets a tune up on their car. They know what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to revitalize, replenish your fluids. So it's making those lifestyle analogies is how I try to make it simple. But I started studying for myself because I wanted to have the information. And then I started helping other people, and I could not help them if I don't know it.
Right.
And I'm not the type of person that can give you half information. So
how did you gain all this knowledge? Did you do reading? Did you study?
Reading, studying, what are those things called? Documentaries. That's the other word, which opens up more places and things to study. So I don't just take the documentaries. It's okay. The documentaries are to spark new thought and give you more places because they often cite their sources. So now you got more places to read. So reading the actual research studies that doctors and these different research people have done, reading the books that different doctors have written. So I'm also certified personal trainer. So going through that process, I'm going through and getting my certified nutrition. I got a couple other certifications I'm going through in the next few months just to add more knowledge and credibility. So reading books like Dr. Layla Africa, reading books by Dr. Brenner. So there's so many books and information out there, and then compiling all of that and seeing the things that correlate and where there's matchup and overlap. That's the word I'm looking for. Because now you know if multiple people are coming to the same conclusion, it's very likely the case.
What are some like documentaries that noteworthy that you remember that really like stuck to you or you gained something from it?
Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It's one of my favorites to give to people because you can see the journey of somebody who was over 300 pounds go from that to being a healthier weight, and then he starts to help people. What the Health is a great one. And one of the main reasons because it's got my good friend, Dr. Milton Mills, in it.
Okay.
Food Inc. is another good one. Super Size Me. Believe it or not, that's a real good one because it shows you the direct effect of eating fast foods. Of course, his was over exaggerated because he was only eating that, but it shows the effects of what this food does to you. Forks Over Knives. And then for my men, the good one was Game Changers. And the reason that one's because it's sports based.
Okay.
And so it's got a lot of athletes and they were doing a lot of scientific more stuff than the heart-feely pull on your heartstrings type of stuff.
I don't think I've seen that one before.
If you haven't seen Game Changers, it is one to watch.
And you said it's tied with sports.
So it was created by a dude who used to be an MMA fighter.
Okay.
And so it has a sports theme to it. The people that are interviewed or that the studies around, because there's one study where they took actual football players, fed them a meat-based diet and fed some of them a plant-based diet and did studies on their blood immediately after and showed them what their blood looked like. And they could see the difference. They did a study with some college football players using some type of penile sleep detector to see how a man stands up because we get multiple erections in our sleep.
For real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so this test showed how often and the hardness of the erection. So the people who were eating meat experienced less. The people who were eating plant-based experienced more. So there's all of these direct studies that are there that directly speak to men because it was created by a man, and it really has a lot of the people that they're talking about are sports people. So they bring in a cyclist. That's a woman cyclist, and most of the people they bring in the dude who's a power lifter. So it's mostly sports and athletes
centered.
Yeah. So it speaks to men because a lot of time I know women are the ones who often affect the change in men's health. Well, this is one that spoke to them so that they can be like, all right, yeah, it's bro stuff now.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. With as a coach, you work with like people. Are they mostly like men or women? So
believe it or not, 80% of my clients have been women. And I'd probably say 70% of them 40 and over. It's just who my voice resonates with. I've had some men, but it's also the way that I create my content. It's about preventing certain things. And I think if I speak more to the issues that men have, it will affect them. Because when I started my business, I wanted to affect more men because there wasn't as much space for us in the health. It's health, in my opinion, is mostly a woman directed industry, especially when it comes to this healing, not just health, but healing. Let me rephrase that. The healing, you see more women focused on that. And so I wanted to make it cool for men. And I wanted to be able to speak to men. However, women are still the ones resonating, but it's also a woman that helped me make the final shift, because when it was my ex-wife, it was like, all right, we're going vegan.
She initiated
it.
Yeah,
so I wanted to do it, but I was like, I'm not doing nothing. Like I resist change.
You think that's what it is with men not wanting to get on that?
I think a lot of men just resist change in general. I know I did. So I'm not going to speak on all men in general, because I know I resist change in general in my life. Like I will say no oftentimes before I say yes. And so that's what it was with this. I didn't want to give up my red snapper at the time.
It was snapper for you?
Yeah, I didn't want to give up red snapper. But she was like, I'm cooking one meal, because she was the cook of the house. So she was like, I'm not going to cook multiple meals. If you want to continue to eat that, you can cook it. And I said, yes, ma'am.
Period.
Vegan it is. And then when we separated, I had to relearn how. I had to basically start at the beginning again, because now I had to learn how to cook everything.
Yeah.
Like I had perfected 3 things: waffles, pancakes, and vegan eggs. That's it. Because breakfast was, I don't like to cook, but when I do cook, I prefer to cook breakfast. So Saturday, Sunday mornings was her day off, and that was my time to be in the kitchen.
So how did you perfect these vegan eggs? Because I'm still a bit...
just the egg came out. Because before that, it was just tofu scramble for real.
Yeah.
I tried the chickpea eggs, and no matter how many times I tried it, how many different recipes, I couldn't get it right. I didn't like it. Didn't. It don't do it for me. The chickpea eggs didn't do it for me either. So I was like, yeah, no, I will leave.
What about tofu scramble?
No, tofu scramble. I said so. The tofu scramble is what I had got down. So no,
yeah. How you season it? How you make it?
So now you want to trade secrets, but no. So Spike is one of my go-to seasonings when I first got.
Spike is a seasoning.
Yeah, Spike is a seasoning brand. So it's like a allspice. It's almost like a Lawry's without the BS in it.
You know, black folks, we love that Lawry's.
I know, but that's why I made the statement. It's like a Lawry's without all the BS. But it's even better than Lawry's, because when I say the ingredients list is this long of nothing but spices.
Okay.
So it's got a real robust flavor. So that, but then you got your garlic powder, your onion powder, and then got to throw in some actual red and green peppers.
Okay.
Make sure that you get a softer tofu that you can get into a good crumble. I try not to let mine get too dry. Everybody else says, oh, drain out and squeeze all the juice out. But now you got dry tofu. So I'll leave a little bit at the end, let that cook off.
So you like it a little wet?
Just a little bit. Because when you cook scrambled eggs, aren't they a little runny sometimes?
Yes. That's why you're the coach.
Now, I'm a coach. I'm not a chef. I just know how to do certain things. Because again, I don't like to cook. So I try to do things as simply as possible. I'm working on a book right now called One Pot Wonders. Because I don't like to cook. Like if I can put stuff in one pot and be done,
that's you.
I'm good.
Okay.
All of the meals in my meal plans are 30 minutes or less, typically 10 ingredients or less.
What are some of your go-to not strenuous cooking in the kitchen labors? What are your go-tos?
Pasta and Buddha bowls.
What type of pasta? Are you like chickpea, spelt, whole wheat?
I'll either do chickpea or lentil pasta typically, because that way, again, everybody say, where you get your protein?
They always ask that.
Well, if you just eat the right food, you'll get it. So I go with the lentil or the chickpea. Occasionally there's a cauliflower and a sweet potato one I'll do. But I stay away from the wheat, because I don't eat as much wheat anymore, because I found out that I'm gluten sensitive. So I get bloated, belly pooch and all that good stuff. So pasta is one of my go-tos, and Buddha bowls. And when I make my Buddha bowls, I make it with quinoa. I like the tricolor quinoa the best over just plain regular white quinoa.
I don't like quinoa.
Okay. That's okay. Everybody don't like it. That's actually, it's funny because actually when I met Sonny, that was one of the, we got into a live debate / argument because I was interviewing Tory Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, a lot of people have an issue with rice and peas. I was like, you know what? She could just make same rice and peas with quinoa. And Sonny got in the comments. She was like, you ain't no real Jamaican. I was like, no, I'm not. But you know what I'm saying? You can. So we kind of went back and forth, had a little banter. But yeah, so quinoa, roasted chickpeas, and tofu. Because I am not opposed to eating tofu. A lot of people are like, oh, you can't, tofu is bad for you, estrogen.
So you eat soy?
Yes, soy is, I am okay. There is nothing wrong with a man or a woman eating soy. The only people that need to avoid soy are the people that are allergic to soy and have super, super sensitivities to any kind of hormone imbalances. Because soy actually helps people who have too much estrogen, because people think that soy has estrogen. It doesn't. It has a chemical, a phytochemical called phytoestrogen, which acts like estrogen and sits on the estrogen receptor, the same endocrine receptor that estrogen would adhere to, and it blocks estrogen from sitting on that receptor and being activated, so the estrogen has to be processed out of the body.
See, you be getting scientific with it. I'm not those vegans that get scientific.
That's okay. So I go down, when I learn about something, I go down the rabbit hole because that's my nature. I build things. So I like to understand the origin of it. So like I have to break it down. So I was the type of kid that took his toys apart so he can put them back together.
Okay. So you go with your hands?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how my brain thinks. So in order for me to understand something, I have to understand it at its smallest level.
Okay.
And so that's why I can get scientific with certain stuff, because I go to the minutia of it.
Wow. So you mentioned earlier about gut health and all that, because I know you have abs.
A little bit.
Because I feel like it's easier for men to get abs than women, and I don't like that. Like I've wanted abs for the longest.
Okay, so part of that is because women naturally have a higher body fat percentage than men.
Okay.
Naturally, because you all are the carriers of life, so you need more fat.
Okay.
So you all naturally carry that.
Okay.
And you typically carry it in the lower half of your body. So that's one. Two, you all have to train a little bit differently, especially if you've had children. Because now you have to basically reconstruct all of the muscles in your stomach because they've been stretched or torn.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So you speak about gut health on your page. Tell us, what is gut health and how do we maintain a healthy gut, or how do we get a healthy gut?
Good question. So gut health, basically, what is a good way to explain gut health? Gut health is what's going on in your gastrointestinal tract. That is not just your stomach, but that's your large and your small intestine and your colon. And when we speak about gut health, we're talking necessarily about your microbiome, your gut bacteria. There are good gut bacteria. There's bad gut bacteria. There are so many different kinds. We're not going to get into the scientific names.
We don't have to, because I don't do all the science.
I don't remember all of them anyway, because there's too many of them.
Okay.
But you have more bacteria in your gut than you do cells in your body.
Okay.
Just so you can see the importance of it. There are some people that say that the gut is the second brain when it's really the first brain. The reason is, what controls your brain most of the time? Hormones, right? Well, what controls hormones? Your gut bacteria and what's going on in your gut. So if what's going on in your gut controls your hormones and your hormones control your brain, who's really controlling who? But so how do you maintain it? You eat foods high in fiber.
Okay.
Because good gut bacteria eats fiber. People think that the body doesn't digest fiber. We don't digest fiber. Humans don't. But the bacteria in our gut does. And so when you're eating foods high in fiber, high in nutrients, the good gut bacteria has a chance to flourish. So it's sending off all of these beautiful things throughout your body. Well, if you're feeding it tons of sugar, you're feeding it tons of oil, tons of processed foods, and you're not eating fiber, now the bad gut bacteria gets to take over. So now you end up with all kind of ailments and different things that come from that.
What are some common practical fibrous foods that if people want to increase their intake of fiber, what are some fibrous foods?
Whole grains, beans, legumes. So when I say legumes, lentils, nuts, seeds, oatmeal is one of the easiest things you can do because you can make overnight oats, quinoas, starchy vegetables. So we're talking about potatoes, your dark leafy greens. These are going to be high in fiber. All fruits and vegetables are high in fiber, and you're going to be high in nutrients, and you're going to be able to get especially if you're eating highly water voluminous fruits and vegetables. Now you're going to be getting your fiber and your hydration.
Yeah, I feel like because I know watermelon has a high number of liquid water in there. So every time I eat watermelon, I get very pissy.
Yep, because it's a high water content fruit. Yeah. Same with all your citrus fruits.
Yeah.
Cucumbers. All of that's going to be super high. Most of your leafy greens are 80% water.
I didn't know that.
The rest is fiber.
I know it has fiber. Okay.
So yeah, so it's way easier than you think. And most of your answers are going to go back to one of the 5 things. Most of the answers to the questions that you're going to ask, although I can elaborate, are going to go back to one of the 5 things. Eat nutrient-rich foods. And where do you get nutrient-rich foods? Whole foods that come from plants. If you're eating whole foods that come from plants, you're going to be eating tons of fiber. You're going to be eating all the macronutrients, all the micronutrients that your body needs.
Love it. So you mentioned that your sister, she battles with weight loss. Is that true?
Yeah, well, it's not battle. She's on her weight loss journey. So
she's on her weight loss journey. And I saw on your page, what are some foods or what can we do to help us on our weight loss journey?
5 things that I just mentioned. All right, no. So okay,
it's like the 5 pillars.
Yeah. So those are that's why I call them the 5 pillars of health because they are in general everything. So, but to be more specific, for somebody who's on a weight loss journey, you have to be at what's called a calorie deficit.
Okay.
Calorie deficit means that you consume less calories than your body burns.
Okay.
It's no more crazy than that. And you want to be in a range of about 250 to 500. But in order to do that, you have to know how many calories you burn a day. So you have to do some math. There's a tool online called a total daily energy expenditure. This will tell you how many calories your body burns just sitting at rest. So you can figure out what your metabolic rate is to know how many calories you should eat in a day and how much to reduce it. 2, you want to eat foods that are high in fiber so that you get full easier, but you're still consuming less calories. You want to focus on using strength training versus cardio. Most people think that, oh yeah, I'm going to go do all this cardio. They lose a little bit of weight and then they slow down and then they just feel themselves getting soft. Well, steady state cardio is meant for just that, your cardiovascular system. It's not meant for building your muscles, and it doesn't burn as many calories as most people think. Whereas strength training burns more calories during the process and after. And because you're building muscles burn more calories than fat do. So just even sitting still, you're going to burn more calories when you focus on strength training.
I've heard that before. So a lot of people who go on this like health journey to lose weight and all that, they say, and they may incorporate some like plant-based foods into their diet. They say they don't feel full. What are some suggestions to help people to feel fuller while still going through their healthy journey?
If they're not feeling full, that means that they're probably just eating fruits and salads. Because there's no way you're not full if you're eating pasta. You're eating a lentil or a chickpea pasta. There's no way that you're not getting full if you've got quinoa, chickpeas, or
some
lentil
carbs
stew
or starches.
Yes, you got so I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you used that word carbs. Most people think carbs are a bad thing. Carbs are not a bad thing. Processed carbs are a bad thing. Well, what is the difference between a carb and a processed carb, Coach? Oats. We'll use oats themselves. Regular rolled oats, the kind old-fashioned oats, what folks call them, not as processed. And then you still have these things called steel cut oats, little less processed than rolled oats. Then you have instant oats. These are highly processed and add with things in them. So that right there shows you the spectrum from lightly processed to highly processed. Another example of processed breads. There are certain breads that white bread versus whole grain bread is going to have a different impact on you. So processed carbs are the problem, not carbs, because all fruit and vegetables are carbs. They're simple carbs.
Right.
It's the processed carbs that don't have the fiber in them and don't have the nutrients that make you feel full that are the problem. So white breads, white starches like white rice, things like that are a problem. Or eating straight something out of a package, prepackaged foods. That's where a lot of people are getting, or they say avoid carbs. Those are the carbs you want to avoid. But to say avoid carbs, that means you're not going to eat no potatoes. You're not going to eat no vegetables, no fruit, like none of that, because all those are carbs. So it's helping people understand the right terms. And so getting away from the processed foods and eating more whole foods, but also eating enough, making sure that you have a full spectrum. You got grains, you got legumes, you got vegetables on your plate. Because when I make my salads, I make a salad called a big ass salad.
What's in your big ass salad?
It's typically 2 or 3 different type of greens. So I'll either do like an arugula, a kale, and a spinach, or a Swiss chard. Then I will do quinoa. I will do chickpeas or black beans. I will do carrots, peppers, onions, tomato, avocado, and a little bit of a drizzle and some seasoning. And
drizzle of what?
So either olive oil, or I'll make like a vinaigrette.
What's your thoughts on like store-bought dressing, salad dressings?
Perfectly fine as long as they don't have added oils in them.
Okay, so someone can eat dressings, but no added
as long
oil.
as it doesn't have added oils or added animal products. So dressings are fine, because I don't want you to be out here eating bland food. That's another thing. People think that us vegans, we just eat bland food, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like, our food is very flavorful. Like, if you've ever eaten any of our friends' food, you eating Sonny's food, you eating Maul or Tommy's, you know what I'm saying? They're like, we ain't short on flavor at all. So it's there. However, when I say avoid things that have oil, most people consume too much liquid fat. And oil is just liquid fat. So I know you got a question on there about diabetes. We can get to that in a second. But liquid fat is a problem. And so consuming oil and all of that, that's why I say avoid the ones with liquid oil.
Tell us some
oil.
Tell us some common mistakes that people make on their weight loss journey.
Eating too little food.
Okay.
So I said something about being in a calorie deficit, but if you make that calorie deficit too big, your body goes into conservation mode, and now you burn less calories. You slow your metabolism down. So don't make that calorie deficit too big. 2, cheat days.
Ooh, talk about it.
So I don't believe in cheat days.
Me
I
neither.
believe in eating an 80-20. 80% whole foods that come from plants, 20% junk food vegan. The reason being is, when you say cheat day, who are you cheating? What are you cheating? So because you're not dieting, because I don't teach people how to diet. I teach people how to eat so they never have to diet again. So if you already incorporate these small things into your calorie expenditure, your meal for the week, it doesn't have that large an effect, because now you are going to be less guilty eating 1 or 2 pieces of something that you wouldn't have. And I can't even think of what it is. So I'll use cookies for example, because I'm a sweet tooth, and the vegan cookies at Whole Foods, they got a hold on me. So instead of, for somebody that's on their weight loss journey, instead of them eating a whole row of cookies at one time, now if you know that a couple of days out of the week you can eat 1 or 2 cookies, you don't feel guilty. So you don't find yourself not doing what you're supposed to do after having eaten, because like, I didn't ate these 3, I might as well eat some more. So you end up down that rabbit hole. So it prevents that when you add it in already. Another mistake that people often make is doing too much cardio. They think that the cardio is going to help. I would rather you do 1 or 2 days of cardio and 3 days of strength training, or do 5 minutes of cardio, 10 minutes of cardio, and then 30 minutes of strength training. Because then you're going to get the maximum effect. What is another? Not sleeping enough. That's another mistake that people make. They think that they think that as we get older, we can run off less sleep. No, the older we get, the more sleep we need, actually. The only time we can really run off them little 4-5 hours of sleep is that little short window between 18 and 30. After 30, you better start getting them hours. What are other mistakes that I've seen people make? Giving up on themselves, being too hard on themselves.
Yeah.
Because when you're too hard on yourself, say you do fall off and you eat something that's not on plan, now you're so hard on yourself that you don't do what you're supposed to do the next day. And so just instead of accepting, it was a mishap, life happens, I'm a human, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then just rolling on with it. They feel like, oh, no, throw my hands up. Now they kind of go down a hole until they realize, oh, I don't like it here. And then they go back to the beginning. Versus just picking up where they left off and keeping going. Most people mess up their weight loss or in their health journey in general is because every time they fall off, they think, hey, you got to go back to the beginning. When you could really just pick up where you left off and keep going. Because most of us keep starting over instead of just...
You're on that hamster wheel, that cycle. So I saw on your page, you talk about mixing fruits and vegetables, and should we? Can you tell us about that? Like, because I see like for instance, like a smoothie, like people mix vegetables and fruits.
So the answer is two-sided. It's yes and no. If you have gastrointestinal issues and you want your gut health to be the best it absolutely possibly can, don't mix the two.
Okay.
If that's not you, mix the two. It's okay. It's not going to cause that much of a disruption in your digestive system if you're eating enough foods the right way on a regular and consistent basis. So the reason why they say that is that you're not supposed to mix the two is that our body digests fruit and vegetables at different rates. And so by mixing them, it kind of confuses that system a little bit, but our body system isn't that unadvanced that it's not able to process the two of them.
Right.
Now, is it the most optimal thing for your gut health? No, it's not. However, is it detrimental? No, it's not, unless you already have predetermined gut issues.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of those reasons how we were talking before we got started. I don't live in extremes. And to me, that's one of those things that's extreme. Because if that's the case, some of the juices that I make, I couldn't make. Because I make green juices. Well, I mix cucumber. That's the word I'm looking for. Cucumber. That's a fruit. It's not a vegetable. It's fruit because the seeds are inside of it.
Yeah.
I mix celery with that cucumber. Celery is a vegetable. I also mix leafy greens with that cucumber. I also mix green apples. So now we just mix fruits and vegetables together to make a healthy juice. So a lot of times the people in this space that tell you this is unhealthy for you are giving you the most extreme example of that. To say this is it, but that's also what a lot of people will do when they try to justify what they do. Is they will find the extreme examples of, well, this one person over here had it, so now, no, it's like everybody's body is different. So what works for me is not going to necessarily work for you. So that's why you have to know your basis and trial and error to see what works for you. Because that's why my meal plans are standard, but each person gets individual coaching on it because we may have to change something up for that person.
Okay. So you had mentioned earlier about diabetes, and I saw on your page also that is type 2 diabetes reversible?
Yes. Absolutely.
How can someone reverse their diabetes?
So first off, we have to understand diabetes is not the problem. Insulin resistance is the problem. And once you reverse the body's resistance or insulin resistance, the diabetes goes away. So how do you reverse the insulin resistance? Most people need to reduce the amount of fat that they have in their body overall, but they also need to reduce the amount of dietary fat that they're eating. Why are we talking about fat? We're talking about, or most people think that diabetes is a sugar issue.
Yeah.
Well, sugar is only part of the problem. The reason that it becomes the the reason why fat is really the problem is myocellular fat. Not gonna get too specific, but it's the fat that, so glucose, not glucose, what is the word I'm looking for? Insulin. Insulin is like a lock. It's like a key for the cell. In order for the cells to be opened, in order for the glucose to get in, it needs insulin to open it. Well, fat blocks insulin from opening the cell for the glucose to get in. So if you have too much fat blocking the cell from being opened, now the glucose can't get in, and now it's just roaming through your body. So the body produces more insulin in an attempt to force it in, and now you have, just like anything, your body, the more you give it, the more it gets used to it. So now it's not working. So now you become insulin resistant, and now you're saying type 2 diabetes. So now you have to put this chemical in your body to force it. So the way that you are able to reverse it are eat nutrient-rich foods.
Back to the 5 pillars.
Eat nutrient-rich foods. Drink enough water. Move your body every day. Get enough sleep. Manage your stress. Well, how do all of those help? Well, when you're eating nutrient-rich foods, you're avoiding the additional dietary fat. You're feeding your gut bacteria, and you're able to start losing weight, losing waste. On top of that, when you are moving your body every day, you help remove the waste, remove the fat, and get your blood flowing better. Increases your metabolism, which helps you better digest and I'll absorb the foods and vegetables. When you're getting proper sleep, now you're getting your body the rest that it needs to go through the restorative process that it goes through at night to remove all the dead cells and all of that good stuff. And when you process your stress in a healthy way, now you're not producing as much cortisol, which is stored as fat when it's not all processed. So now again, you reduce the amount of fat that you have.
How do you manage stress?
Breath work.
What is breath work?
Breath work, great question. So breath work is using deep diaphragmatic breathing for repetition at different paces to help regulate your nervous system. And so we can do some breath work right now. We just take 3 deep breaths. Like auditorily breathe out. Force all of the air out of your lungs. Smell the cookies. Fog the mirror. Just those 3 deep breaths, you feel calmer already. I mean, I know I do.
I do too.
So imagine if you did that with intention on a regular basis. And then there are different type of breathing techniques you can do. So there's box breathing, there's breath of fire. There's so many different types. And there are so many that I don't even have all the names of them. There's certain ones I use if I'm feeling anxious, if I'm feeling angry, if I'm feeling whatever. There are certain breathing techniques you can do to help regulate yourself.
Okay.
And so those are the quickest and easiest things. Next, journaling, dancing, actually working out can help you reduce your stress, because when you work out, the muscle contractions release endorphins in the body, and endorphins are the things that make us feel good.
You mentioned about proper sleep. What is it enough? Do we need 8 hours of sleep?
Yes.
8 hours.
6 to 9 hours of sleep.
9.
6 to 9 hours of sleep. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Ooh.
6 to 9 hours.
You sleep 9 hours?
No, I don't. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I'm closer to the 6 mark because I run a business. I'm a co-parenting father that was homeschooling his kids, and I have a job. So yeah, no, I could. Yeah, no, I'm closer to that 6 range.
Okay.
6, 7. Especially lately, my body's been forcing me to do more to 7. And that's how I know, like, your body will tell you, sit your tail down in a heartbeat. Yes, it is important because of the different sleep states that we go through. And depending on if you're not sleeping long enough, you're not sleeping long enough to get into that deeper state where the healing actually happens.
Okay. What are some like signs that our body will tell us? Because I feel like our body communicates with us like like when we feel a pain, it's a signal.
Absolutely.
What are some signs or common signs that people tend to ignore, but our body is telling us, hey, you need to pay attention to my kidneys or something like that?
Are everything. So inflammation is the body's response. Everybody thinks that inflammation is a bad thing. Inflammation is actually a good thing because inflammation is the body's response to negative things going inside of it. And it's fight response. However, most of us are chronically inflamed because we have so much going on that we are not able to see the difference.
Yeah.
So most of the aches and pains that you feel is your body communicating with you that something's off.
Yeah.
Headaches are typically a communication with your body that something is off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just listening to any of those, pretty much anything that when you feel off in your body, it's communicating with you that you need to pay attention to something.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier about the importance of hydration. And I saw on your page too, because I'll be looking at your page, about water. Like, are there particular waters? Because I know we got the alkaline, we got the spring, the distill, the purify, the tap. I don't do tap. No offense to nobody who drinks tap.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's all you got, drink it. But please don't drink it.
Okay.
please don't drink it. I just saw a video yesterday of somebody pulling pipes up out of the ground, the steel pipes up out of the ground that the water moves through, and sludge and junk that's in them. Like, you got to think these pipes have been in the ground for most of them 50 plus years.
I just had
that alone, not even the stuff that's going into the water, because think of how many people dump their pills down the toilet or do all this stuff. So now that goes into the water supply, and they aren't able to get all of those chemicals out of the water, no matter how many times they reverse osmosis, this, that, and the third, the microplastics that are in it, all this other crazy stuff. So to answer your question, I drink one of two waters. I drink distilled water or I drink spring water. Only two waters I would drink. I don't go for the alkaline water. To me, it's marketing.
Okay.
Because our bodies, our systems are a little too advanced. Because as soon as the water hits our gut, it immediately adheres. The word that I'm looking for is eluding me. What's going on in your body, it just matches that. Okay. So it's like, so drinking water of a higher pH is not about to change the pH level of your stomach.
Period.
Like, water is not going to do that. So to me,
things like a quick fix.
So to me, it's just, but again, just like everybody selling sea moss, they're taking sea moss now. Sea moss is not a cure all. Sea moss is a great supplement.
Yes.
It is a fantastic supplement. It has great benefits for helping, depending on if you're using the golden sea moss or the purple sea moss, depending on what you need it for. But it's not a cure all. If you're still eating like crap, that's basically,
talk about it.
Let's not do that. Yeah, no. So like, sea moss has its intention and its purpose. If you're not eating, if you're the type of person who's not eating a wide variety in their diet and they're not eating enough variety in their diet, yes, you need sea moss because you're going to get all of those additional minerals and vitamins that are there. But for somebody who's eating a wide variety, not really. I use sea moss when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, or I feel like I need to rebuild certain. So if I'm feeling like I'm getting ready to go on a cleanse or detox, I'll use some purple sea moss because it helps to cleanse out. But when I'm rebuilding, I use some golden sea moss.
Okay. You said habits are your problem, not weight. Break that down.
Habits are your problem, not weight. Most people think that they have a weight problem. When they don't have a weight problem, they have a habit problem. And the reason being is the habits that you have are what's controlling the weight. If you are getting into an emotional state, whatever that emotional state is, and you reach for food instead of processing that emotion and dealing with that emotion, that's a habit problem, not a weight problem.
Yeah.
Your weight isn't why you're reaching for those snacks. It's the habit of not processing your ish in a healthy manner, which goes back to managing stress healthy in a healthy way. Because if you're managing whatever it would be, relationship, job, kid, family, like, and I'll use myself as an example. Right now, I'm going through a lot. So I've been eating a lot more sweets. I know that. And it's affecting me. My energy levels have been lower. It's been a little hard for me to do some other things, but I know why. It's because I've been eating so much sweets. But I've been eating so much sweets because I want that comforting. I want that love, that feel that sweets make you feel. So I know it's a habit problem for me. So everything, you're not getting enough sleep. It's not a weight problem. You're not getting enough sleep, so your body can do what it was meant to do. Oh, well, you're eating food out of convenience. You're going to the fast food spot. You at work. You didn't take lunch, so you're going to whatever's closest, whatever's quickest, which is probably not the healthiest. So that's a habit problem.
Yeah.
If you took the extra 30 minutes that it takes to do meal prep for the week, or you know what I'm saying, for 2 days, prepare those meals, take them now, and you got a convenient meal. That's a habit.
Yeah.
Not a weight problem.
Yeah.
The fact that you reaching for sodas, this, that, and the third, instead of just some good old water or tea. It's a habit problem, not a weight problem.
This sounds like emotional eating. Like,
not just emotional eating. A lot of people don't like. I have my neighbor. She's been making changes to her health, but she's like, I'm not seeing anything go away. And then she was like, I said, well, what do you drink? She was like, I have to admit, I'm addicted to Coke. She's like, not that kind. She was talking about Coca-Cola.
I was about to say.
She was talking about Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
She won't stop drinking Coca-Cola. Well, there's your problem. The sugars, the dyes, all of this, no matter how healthy you eat, if you're drinking 2 or 3 sodas a day, you're not going to lose weight. You're not going to see the results that you want. So it can be something as simple as that. And that wasn't an emotion thing. It was just she liked soda, which kind of may drive back to emotions.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to really examine what you're doing, why you're doing it, and if it's helping you get to where you want to go. Because if it's not helping you get to where you want to go, why are you doing it? And then you mad that you're not getting the results. Well, if you don't change up your actions, i.e. your habits, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that it's a habit problem, not a weight problem.
I respect that. Tell us, what are some like food extremes? Like, I know you've mentioned a couple of things, but like, as far as like just eating like fruit or salad or a vegetable, like adhering to like a strict.
So for me, extremes are 100% raw diets.
Okay.
To me, that's a bit. To me, again, I know some people that live that way. They're comfortable with it. The amount of time that it takes to prepare the food, the extra care, all that stuff is not the way. My life ain't set up like that. So to me, that's an extreme diet.
Yeah.
The alkaline crowd, that's an extreme diet because they have such an exclusionary list of foods that they won't eat. And most of those foods are not unhealthy.
Okay.
There's nothing unhealthy about broccoli. There's nothing unhealthy about cauliflower. There's nothing unhealthy about garlic. So those are, and then people who will do the mono diets where they'll just eat
one thing.
Yeah, they'll just eat one thing. They're just going to eat watermelon. That's cool for a day or two. So you can go on mono diets for short periods of time, a day, 2, 3 at the most. But outside of that, if you're on a mono diet, you're not getting the variety of nutrients that your body needs. So now your body's going to start to fail in certain things because you're not giving the building blocks. So those are the things that I see as extreme. And then, of course, on the opposite end of that, you got the carnivores. Who I'm just going to eat nothing but meat. You have the it's not called Atkins anymore. What are they? The keto.
Keto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because keto is basically Atkinson's rebranded.
I don't know about none of those diets. I've lost track.
Yeah. So keto is basically where they get rid of all carbs and they mostly eat meat.
Okay.
It's a high fat, high protein, low carb diet.
Okay.
Your body can't process too much protein. Your body doesn't need too much fat. Your body needs carbs because carbs translate or convert into glucose. Glucose is the body's favorite source of energy. End of story. So you need glucose. So that's why keto, like all of that foolishness. So if the diet has a name, it's probably extreme.
If the diet has a name, it's probably extreme. Okay, I'll take that. And so, like a lot of us, we're, being parents, working, running a business, side hustles, all that. How do we make time for people who are on the go and busy? How do you make time to be healthy?
Put it on your calendar like you do everything else. For me, it's a lifestyle, so it's hard not to.
Mm-hmm.
Because my life is set up around my health.
Oh, say that one more time.
My life is set up around my health. Nothing can happen if I don't have my smoothie in the morning. Nothing can happen if I don't do my movement.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that you make time for it is you make time for people. Like, oh, I got to find the time to be healthy. You can't find the time because there's something always that's going to fill your time. You have to make the time. You have to make it a priority the same way you make it a priority to show up to work on time.
That part.
And that's what I tell people. Until you make your health a priority the way you prioritize everything else, it won't. And that means that the other things in your life are going to have to take a back seat to your health. Mm-hmm. Because if your health declines, everything taking a back seat any damn way.
That's true.
Because people are like, oh, I'll do it after the first year when I have more time. Hopefully you make it till then. Not on some, but like real talk. Like, I'll use my example from last year. I lost one of my best friends. I called him my brother to a heart attack, 49 years old.
Wow.
He was starting to make health changes though, but I've been trying to get him to make health changes 10 years ago.
People think we got time.
People always think we have more time. We don't. You don't know when it is. You don't know when that next hamburger, that next meal is going to be the one that sends your heart into basically explode.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that to scare people. I want people to understand the reality of it. We are the top 10 killers in America of Americans are lifestyle diseases. You are more likely to die of a chronic disease than you are of getting hit by a car or getting shot. Combined.
Wow.
People talk about gun deaths and all of this. They riot. They go. No, let's march and riot about all of these health deaths. These people that are dying prematurely because they're not taking care of their health, because we're in a system that is controlled by profits, not people. You've got big pharma, you've got big agriculture, you got big food coming at you from all different angles. Because the same foods that a product or a brand can sell here, they can't sell in all the countries around the world. When you look at let's just use Bisquick as an example, because I know it's a name that came to mind. The Bisquick that we have here on the shelves is not the same Bisquick that's on the shelf in Europe.
A lot of stuff are banned in European countries, but it's permitted here.
Yeah, so let's use Heinz ketchup, for example. If you were to pull Heinz ketchup UK version, Heinz ketchup US version, the ingredients list is completely different.
Really?
There are tons, because America, the FDA, the Food Drug Administration, all of these different people that are supposed to regulate our food don't actually regulate our food, because here in America, big pharma, the chemical companies and all of these other sugars and all these other industries are tied together. So if one goes down, the other one's going to go down. So it's in their best interest to keep them all going together. And then they pay all these monies to lobbyists, to lobby Congress and the government, because they have the money to do so. So now they're writing the laws. So no, it's not about people. It's about profits. And that's why people are getting sicker and sicker, because it's about making more and more profit. There are foods that they have directly linked to chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes, but they're still allowed to be sold on the shelves. Why is that? Why, I'm asking you in hyperbole, but why is a food that's known and directly linked and tied to chronic diseases that are killing people, that is causing the cost of healthcare in this country to go above and beyond? Why is that allowed? Why is that even legal? Well, because it's not illegal yet.
Mm.
Because we don't have enough money lobbying the government to make these changes. But that's the same way as melanated people. We don't have a conglomerate of people that have come together as melanated people that say, all right, now we're going to build us a lobby. We're going to put all our money behind this.
For us.
And now we're going to have you and they're advocating for us. That's why, and it's a perfect time for me to bring it up because it's the election season. They're going to be pandering to us like they do every election season. And then nothing ever changes for us. However, and I use it only as an example, not to upset anyone. You've seen that the LGBT community has gotten a lot of their agendas pushed forward. Well, they have a lobby helping them. That, you know what I'm saying? Whereas we still haven't done that. So they've been able to do more for their rights in the last 10, 20 years than what we've been able to do as a melanated people for civil rights for the last 50 years because we don't have that organized lobby. Same thing is going to have to happen for food. Aren't enough people, and it's not, don't care what color you is because it's killing us all. We need changes, but most people don't understand that it's the food that's the problem. Because the doctors just say, oh, go eat healthier. They don't tell them what eating healthier is because it's not in the doctor's best interest for you to be healthier.
Right.
That's just like the car mechanic, like they always say, a car mechanic wants your car to break down. A doctor needs you to be unhealthy. Most doctors need you to be unhealthy. They got healthy student loans they got to pay back. They need you in there.
Wow. That's real talk. So do you feel like abroad in European countries, is it their government? Do they care more about keeping their people alive?
I haven't thought about why other countries do it. I just know that we don't.
We don't.
I haven't thought about why. Maybe it is because they care about their people more. I don't know. Like for me, I am slightly the conspiracy theorist, and I know that the American government doesn't care about the American people because it's basically a company. So they're about profits at the end of the day, whereas other countries may be different. But I don't know why Europe has allowed, but maybe it's because their people have stood up and said, you know what, we cannot continue to allow these food companies to poison us.
Right.
It's having a direct effect on me and Meemaw. So we need to, y'all got to change this. Y'all got to make them change this. I don't know, because I haven't really studied those cultures, but no, they have less issue. Well, some less issues.
Wow. So I know you have these products here. Can you tell us about your products and your coaching, your programs that you offer?
Absolutely. So we'll go with my coaching because my coaching is my flagship. The products I do just so that no matter where I go, I can carry health with me. So my main program right now, it's called Going Plant-Based Made Simple. It is a pre-recorded course that you can do at your own pace that walks you through and answers all the questions I wish I had someone answer for me when I first started. So it takes you from a plant-based newbie to plant-based know-how in no time.
Oh, I like that.
So it's going to answer all of those beginning questions. It's going to tell you your why. It's going to give you a couple different reasons on ways on how to switch, how to prepare your kitchen, how to read labels, how to navigate the grocery store. On top of that, it comes with a 30-day meal plan that tells you what to eat, gives you the recipes, and even created the grocery list.
Nice.
Then I give you a cheat sheet, a book of cheat sheets. I call it the plant-based book of cheat sheets. So how to eat out with friends, how to eat while traveling, how to read labels again. There's one cheat sheet, a list of plant-based protein sources, because it's the question that you're always going to get asked.
Always. How
to store your food so that it doesn't spoil its fat. How to buy vegetables. So it's just a bunch of cheat sheets. Then there's my Southern Sunday Dinner Made Vegan recipe book. I'm from St. Louis, so I love my Southern comfort foods. I just had to make them healthier. Yeah. So my favorite recipes are in there. And then as an added bonus, I added my Shredded Abs course. Actually, I changed the name of it. Forget what the name of it is, but it's basically a follow-along abs 9-week ab course because I know that you need more movement. So in this, when I created this program, this course, I thought of every excuse that somebody would give me on why they can't get healthy or why they can't do it. And I created a tool to overcome it so that they don't have an excuse.
No more excuses.
None. Then there is my 6-month coaching program. It's a little bit more expensive, but it provides you with a meal plan, provides you with one-on-one coaching, group coaching, video resource library, and things like that. But that's more in depth, so you can get the tailored help that you want. So that's more. The first program is kind of do it yourself. This one is do it with me holding your hand.
I love that, because a lot of people want to become healthier or vegan, but they're alone.
Yes.
So I that's great that you offer that program for them, that one-on-one.
Yeah. And then for my people who really, really feel like they want some help, I do in-home consultation where I will spend 4 hours with you.
Wow.
Come to your house. We're going to go through your cabinet, clear out all the unhealthy stuff, explaining to you why, giving you examples of how to replace it, answering all of your questions. This way the whole family can be involved. Then we take a trip to the grocery store. You go with them
to the grocery store? What? That's amazing.
Yeah, we're going to take a trip to the grocery store, walk through the aisles, show you how to grocery shop, bring the food home, cook a quick meal. Yeah, it's a quick meal. Like I said, quick meal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just to show you how quick and easy.
That's amazing, though. They're very hands-on. That's good. You're not just telling people what to do.
No, because that's what some people do. So I did this via Zoom when we were under the lockdown restrictions. And so once we opened back up, I said it makes sense to offer it to people live and direct. And then on top of that, I have started juicing. I started a juice brand called Healthy Elixirs. So I do fresh pressed juices for people that are here local in South Florida or in events. And because I traveled to do juicing demonstrations at like Veg Fest, and I did Veg Fest, Black Veg Fest New York. And so I did, and then I also travel with the Black Vegan Experience. And so I do juicing demonstrations. So I typically will sell juices there. And then we have my herbal line. So I have a 14-day herbal detox program, which gives you 7 different herbal tea blends that focus on all of the different major systems of the body. So there's one for the digestive system, one for the respiratory system, one for the circulatory system, the lung, the liver, the kidney. And then we have my everyday capsules and what is the word that I'm looking for? Multivitamin.
I was going to say vitamins.
Yeah. So this one is my Nutri-Green. So this is chlorella, wheatgrass, and spirulina. This is because I sometimes do not eat all the leafy greens that I need to. And so this way I know I'm getting the chlorella and all of the nutrients that are in those dark leafy greens because they have great detoxifying effects. And then we have my Root Revive, which is burdock root and bladderwrack, which is great for a gentle detox. It helps remove heavy metals, helps to get blood flow, and it's also going to give you the iron and magnesium and some of the other nutrients that we don't get when we don't eat it.
I love that.
And a lot of people always claiming they're low iron, so that's one.
Oh yeah, that's true. So if they have low iron, they should definitely
iron and iodine, because that's another one that as vegans we miss, because everybody has moved away from the iodized salt and going with the sea salt, which we need iodine. So if you're not eating something with iodine, your thyroid's going to be all over the place.
I was just about to say. So women with the thyroid functions, definitely should get that one.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you'd like to plug?
So we got the Live Healthy t-shirts. Those are always good to go. You can book me to come to your event to speak. So that's really where I'm moving things in this new year, is working more on my workshop. So my intent is to have a touring workshop, health workshop, where we'll come to your city. We'll address the major health issues that are going on. And when I say workshop, it's going to be hands-on. So bring your notepad, or I would like to have notepads and pens. Not instead of it just being a lecture. Now it's a workshop. I'm going to ask you questions. You're going to have to write down. It's going to be a very interactive thing, because if you're not taking action, you're not actually going to ever take action. It's just going to be one of those things where you got super excited, you got all this information, you got excited, you go home, you go back to doing the same thing. So my goal is to get people in action while they're there, so that all they have to do is keep up the action. Because again, I want them to say 3 things when I'm done speaking. I didn't know that. That makes sense. That's easier than I thought.
Okay. And my final question, so with what your brand and what you're doing now, where do you see yourself and your brand and your works in the next 5 years or in the future?
I'll be speaking in front of thousands of people.
I'll
be speaking in front of thousands of people.
Okay.
So I will have an auditorium full of people who came to hear me speak.
Wow.
My mission is to impact over 1 million families to help them improve their health, to avoid the chronic diseases that kill us too early. I want to prevent other people from feeling the way I felt when I had to bury my mother at 31 years old.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, thank you again for joining us here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the space. And this conversation was super dope.
Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And until next time, hope you enjoy.